Now that's original.
Have you come to poke fun at my tears, to kick me while I'm down, just to jest about the rest of what's left of me? Tell me, darling, why are you back in town? I've been going nowhere very fast. My friends, they all say I won't last. But darling, there's one thing that's for sure: I won't be fooled by you anymore. Have you come to poke fun at my tears, to kick me while I'm down, just to jest about the rest of what's left of me? Tell me, darling, why are you back in town? Yes, darling, why are you back in town? Hello there, Acorns, and welcome back to Original Thursdays. There's a song that I wrote. I don't have a very specific memory of when I wrote it, but it was sometime in the teenage years. And as far as I remember, I've never recorded that song. It's kind of a short song, really just two verses and a chorus, I guess you would say. And I didn't really think about it or realize it at the time, but now that I'm sort of thinking about the song now, I can see where I was probably heavily influenced by one song in particular and maybe a couple of other songs as well. Not in terms of the melody, but just in terms of the ideas in the song or the concept of the song. When I was real young, I would just kind of listen to whatever. Of course, I loved to listen to Pap and Ray when I was just a little tyke. And there was a record that Tipper and I loved to play, which is going to appear in an Old Timey Tuesday eventually. It was going to appear last week, and I had some technical difficulties. But even though I listened to those country songs and then gospel songs of Pap and Ray, and I liked the gospel songs that I would hear in church when I was a little bitty boy, when I got more approaching my teens, I listened primarily 80s rock and roll, and that was my favorite music. And going back and listening to 80s rock now, it's pretty good music. Most of the 80s rock had some substance to it, melodically and lyrically. But as I was getting around age 11, Pap encouraged me to listen to classic country music rather than the 80s rock music. And at first I was really resistant to that, and I thought, yeah, you really don't know what you're talking about, Pap, or Daddy. This 80s rock that I'm listening to, it's far superior to that old, country music that you want me to listen to. But he talked me into listening to a 45 record. I should have rounded it up for this video because I do still have it, of the Louvin brothers singing a song that Ira did not write. Ira wrote the vast majority of all the Louvin brothers songs, but this particular song was written by Bill Anderson, and I think the Louvins had a somewhat of a hit with it. And the song was "Must You Throw Dirt in My Face," and it really just pulled me in because it just sounded, the way they sang it, it just sounded so heartfelt and so genuine that after listening to that, I had to admit, yeah, Pap, you're right. This is really good. I really do like this. And he said, okay, well, what you need to do now, he said, that's not bad, but what you need to do now is you need to go up to your Uncle Ray's and start borrowing some of his Louvin Brother records and some of his Reno and Smiley records. And of course I did that, and I was just hooked. I pretty much loved every single thing that I heard from them and wanted to hear more and more. But back to that Bill Anderson song, Must You Throw Dirt in My Face, it has the same sort of concept of this song. What is it that brings you to this part of town? Curiosity, conscience, or fate? I know it's not love because I once gave you love and all you gave me was the gate, which is kind of an old-timey way of saying, the boot, you told me that it was over. I got a feeling you've come back to just rub it in and to really put me in my place. You've already put big old tears in my eyes. Must you throw dirt in my face? So I wasn't really thinking of that song when I wrote this song that I just sang for you. I guess this song I would probably call or entitle Why Are You Back in Town? But anyway, looking back now, even though they're very different in terms of the melody, I probably subconsciously was influenced by that concept. I really didn't have that experience of someone that I was romantically involved with going away and coming back and it being like salt in the wound or anything like that. I might have experienced it where it was kind of awkward. But we have a very small town where we live, so there's not a side of town, or there's not an idea of where you could not cross paths with someone within this county or this town. But always liked that song. And a couple of other songs that have similar concepts would be Johnny Rivers' song, The Poor Side of Town. And Reno and Smiley had a song, Just About Then, which also had that concept of, hey, what are you doing here? I didn't really want to run into you. Now in the Johnny Rivers song, it's more like welcome back, like you went and tried it and it didn't work out for you. Now welcome back, baby, to the poor side of town. Anyway, all three of those songs I really liked, and they may have all subconsciously influenced me to write that song that I just sang for you. Said I never recorded it. I think I probably did sing it a few times for Pap. And then, the original videos on this channel, which there's a bunch of them, they were all shot here on Sunday afternoons when it would be me and Pap, and sometimes Tipper, Corey and Katie, sometimes Mark and Ben, my nephews, and we'd all be down here making music. I think a few times I sang this song when we were doing that. And I didn't do it much because it's not really a good song for a duet. It would be a little difficult for Pap to sing harmony. Not so much because of the pitches, but just more the timing of it. It seems like Tipper encouraged me a time or two because she had learned to play it on the bass. She would say, well, why don't we do that song, of yours? But I didn't feel much like doing it most of the time because, like I said, it doesn't lend itself easily to two people singing, and that's just because of the phrasing. And Pap, he thought it was a good song, but there was a time or two that he wasn't specific, but more just like his facial expressions or his body language. I think there were places that he thought were a little awkward in terms of the way the words fall, particularly when it changes from A to D. That there are a lot of words or notes kind of crammed into that one spot. And I was kind of aware of that. But that's true, of a lot of songs. Even some of his songs had maybe some awkward places in the meter here or there. But in some sense, I felt like it worked. Like you could say, tell me, darling, why are you here now? Now, you normally wouldn't put stress on a to be verb like are, A-R-E. But it kind of works in that song because prior to that, you're saying, did you come for this reason, or are you just here to kind of rub it in, to kind of make fun of me? And so in that sense, if you're thinking of a conversation, it can make sense to put emphasis on the word are. Like, well, why are you here then, if not for those things. It's kind of funny. I did like the song and sort of the poetry of the song. And sometimes you can like something without really knowing specifically why. But in getting ready to make this video, thinking about the song, I think that the lyrics are kind of interesting poetically, because you have you come to poke fun, and it's not really assonance. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds. It's not the repetition of the same vowel sounds, but you have come, you have that vowel sound, and then you have poke, oak, and then you have fun. So you have three different vowel sounds kind of in a row. You have o, and that somehow is kind of poetic. And then immediately after that, you have just to jest. So you have the alliteration of the J sound. So not bad. And I also like the idea of going nowhere very fast. That probably appears in some other song. I'm sure I'm not the first person or the only person to say that, but I like the idea of going nowhere, but doing it very quickly. And I kind of, even though I've never experienced that, I also like the concept of maybe your peers observing and sort of seeing that process and feeling like it's going to do you in eventually because of this, whatever, this unrequited love that you've had. I'm going to attempt to, because I like the notes and I like that chord pattern. That's really a D flat, and what it is, it's a C7 position moved up once. And most of the time if you're playing an A, you're going to go to D or D7. You could go to D7. But this is flattened once. Now a lot of songs in A could do that, go to D flat and then go to D. I'm not aware of that many songs that go to D flat and come back to A, which is what this song does the first time. La da 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 da. La da la da da la da da. And I can't remember why I'm telling you this. There's something. After I play it, I'm going to try to play it a little bit on the piano and maybe try to play the guitar with the piano a little bit, just like I did in the last Old Timey Tuesday for Cross the Brazos at Waco. Now, because of kind of there are a few unusual things in this song, I'm going to have to do that differently than I did it before, and I'll explain what I had to do differently after you hear that part. Okay, just some fooling around with the melody of the song there. The reason I had to do it a little bit differently, one, I just could not yet, at least not consistently without breaking time pretty badly, chord the piano this time because of that chord right there, the D flat chord. It was just very hard to get that, like I said, without breaking time and then make it onto the next chord. So I tried to just play the notes a little bit on the piano, and even that was a little hard and a little awkward because of those funny places, like the transition from there to there. And I did learn a few things about the piano. I learned that the metronome, if you play with the metronome and you record it on the piano, it does not record the metronome. So that's very handy. And the neat thing about the way this piano records, of course, it records all internally. So someone could be having a conversation right here beside you or whatever. It'll only record your playing. And as I just said, I found out it does not record the metronome, which is handy. Now the metronome is really just kind of a click. I'll let you hear it, a little two-part click. Of course, that tempo is way too fast. That was 120 beats a minute. Whereas I did it probably a little less than 70 beats per minute. But I tried to play in the song on the piano with the metronome, and those little funny places, I could not tell how to do my timing. So what I did is I sat here and I played the piano, the notes, with the video that you just watched. I played the video over on my computer monitor and played the notes on the piano. And then, of course, like I said, the piano is not going to record the sound of the video that's playing over there across the room. It's only going to record what I did on the piano. So anyway, just some little experimentation. Now, one other thing, and then I'll wrap this original Thursday up. I was talking about that chord being a little bit unusual in the way it's used in this song. Pap used, I guess you could almost say, the opposite of that chord in a song. So that is a D7 flat. Pap used a D7 sharp, or I guess you could technically call it an E7 flat. In this song right here, I am not in tune, and I haven't sung this song in who knows when, but let's see, how does it even go? I hear of children dying from hunger every day. In fear and pain they're crying pretty high. You know someone should have to pay. So watch for the E7 flat, which is kind of like a D7 sharp at the end of this chorus. Let's see. Someday far away in heaven we'll find a brighter day. Somewhere over there in heaven it won't be this way. No, in heaven it won't be this way. So whereas my song goes 1 fret short of D, his song goes 1 fret sharp of D, and it creates a very different sound, almost like a minor sound. Anyway, I did a terrible job on that song right now. My voice is not really warmed up to try to sing something in that range. But if you like that song, you can find it on iTunes and Spotify and all those places wherever you download music. It's called In Heaven It Won't Be This Way. And then you can also order the CD. That was on the last CD of Pap's songs that I put out. And you can order that through the Etsy shop of the blind pig and the acorn, or celebrating Appalachia. But I hope you enjoyed that song that I wrote as a teenager. Why Are You Back in Town? And tune in this Saturday, and we'll have another story song series. And then the following Tuesday, we'll have another song with Granny for Old Timey Tuesday. Thanks for watching.